Hi everyone, Tony Tonkin here from the Child Protection Party. Glad you could be with me again to talk about an interesting subject, to say the least. We're going to talk about being brave. I was wandering through the Department of Child Protection's Facebook page the other day and I came upon a photo of a whole host of social workers celebrating what it is that they think they're doing. And in that photograph, on the header of that, they had a statement that I thought was interesting, to say the least. Now, we here in South Australia have had a new minister, and the jury's out on as to her effectiveness at this particular point. I understand that it takes some time for ministers to kind of get their act together, decide which direction that they're going to take, and to implement change as they see it. I must confess that over the last few years, we haven't seen any change. In fact, for the whole time that we've been doing this work, which is now, in terms of the work I've been doing for over a decade, we haven't seen any changes at all. But we are forever hopeful, and hopefully there will be some significant change at this particular time. So, the theme was being brave, and what being brave actually means. I'll just show you the clip that I've copied from their Facebook page. And it says, yesterday marked the beginning of National Reconciliation Week and an opportunity to be involved in the conversation about how we can all participate in and contribute to reconciliation. Fabulous idea. I agree with reconciliation, and I agree that we should certainly be confronting what's happened around Indigenous people and to make sure that we're changed our policies so that Indigenous families can have their children remain with them where appropriate. This year's theme, though, is be brave, make change, inspire us to be brave with our actions and to demand change where we see opportunities to do better. Now, I celebrate the notion that this is an opportunity to being brave, but I do wonder what being brave actually means. Does being brave mean that we need to take decisions, make decisions? The social workers and people, psychologists and others, those people that are responsible for taking away kids, are they going to be braver about the number of kids that they take away? Are they going to be more gung-ho? They're going to go in there, ensuring that these kids who they deem as unsafe are all going to be removed so that they're going to look after these children? I don't think so. I think that being brave means that we need to find a way to make decisions that are appropriate for young people, and that we should work a little bit harder in order not to remove children. That's what it means to me. But is that what it means to the department? I'm not sure. I have no idea what they mean. I just want to refer back to this because they also say make change, inspiring us all to be brave with our actions and to demand change where we see opportunities to do better. Well, I just want to inform the department that there are plenty of opportunities to do better. We see indications of this every single day. I work with heaps of families and lots of people contact Child Protection Party that tell us that the system is doing anything but making brave decisions. A brave decision for me and a significant change would be for social workers to find different ways to work with families, to understand the circumstances in which these families find themselves, to look for appropriate mental health services when necessary, domestic violence services when necessary, to stop. A change would be if they could stop blaming parents for whatever their past was and start looking to where families are at this particular point and the work that parents are doing. I was working with a couple today and I had a meeting with the department where the parents are doing a fabulous job of, I would score them 10 out of 10 in terms of the amount of effort they've put into making the changes in their lives around drug abuse, mental health and so on. And that needed to be celebrated. In fact, there needed not to be any other discussion apart from the work the family's doing around the issues that were concerning the department. Now, being brave, to me, would be celebrating those changes, to understand the effort that has been made in order to make those changes. But the department fails to do that. they don't seem to want to acknowledge that, and they give it lip service. So along the way and during that conversation, the social would say, "I think that's really good. You've got some insight there, blah 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 blah," but then insisted for at least 20 minutes of the conversation to focus on areas which actually weren't all that relevant, and some of the areas they wanted to focus on weren't even true. So when they say that inspire us all to be brave with our actions and demand change where we see opportunities to do better. Now, are they talking about changing within the system? Is that what they're talking about? Are they talking about wanting to do better for whom? They want to do better to make sure they have more kids taken away? Do they want them to do better so they have less children taken away and more families being able to get the support that they need? These are the important things, I think, that we need to start to focus on. And the department refuses at some level to be able to focus on any of these appropriately. Now, I want to know from you what you've noticed around, if you've got kids that are in care, what have you noticed about the department being brave? And what I want us to think about, what does that mean if we're asking people to make brave decisions? What does it mean, the word brave? I think that most social workers should make appropriate decisions, well-informed decisions, decisions based on best practice, not decisions based on a whole series of notifications made by one spurious member of a family who just simply wants to punish another member of the family. That it is about making decisions based on appropriate sets of information, also accompanied with absolutely knowing who these families are, the work that they've done, the changes that they've made, the impact that those changes will have on their children once they're returned to them. These are the things that we need to consider. Is it being brave, saying to a family, look, these are the issues that exist in your life, we're going to work with you while you work through those particular problems. It doesn't mean we're going to remove the kids. It does mean, though, that we're going to assist you. We're going to help you. Is that being brave, or is that just doing the things that we need to do? And the other thing in this particular statement, which really fascinated me, I think, as well, is that demand change where we see opportunities to do better. I can tell you right now that there's plenty of opportunities within the department to do better. And some of those areas are in areas such as supervision. I think, and one of the areas that I've talked about for many years actually, is around supervision. I think we actually need an auditor. We need someone to come in and audit the system and watch these social workers work and correct their fallacies. To look at their engagement with clients, the engagement with parents. How do they work with those parents? The types of comments that they make that are unhelpful. What we notice for many years now is parent blaming, and particularly mother blaming. So they'd pick on the mother and they'd focus on her deficits, and in some cases completely ignoring the father. Now, this is the sort of thing that specifically needs to change. We need to be able to find ways to have a look at the way they're working and change and challenge those particular practices. Now, what this does mean is, though, that at the end of the day, we need to be able to make brave decisions about who should or should not be doing this work. And in many cases, there should be some of these social workers who should be sacked. There are other social workers who do a really good job who should be promoted. What normally happens is the good social workers choose to leave, the bad social workers remain. They're the ones that get promoted. Hence, we tend to have this system which is perpetuating bad behaviour from social workers. So this system needs to change, and they need to find another way to be brave by getting rid of those people that are practicing inappropriately. This is not rocket science, I don't think, and it's stuff we've been talking about forever. The other thing too is I know, because I've had conversations with some of these social workers, that there are social workers who work in the department who see the problem, but they feel powerless to do anything about it. Those are the social workers who should stand up now, because, as this says, our actions and to demand change where we see opportunities to do better. Where we see opportunities to do better. There are plenty of those opportunities within the department. Plenty of opportunities to do better. They're presented every single day. And someone needs to stand up and say the way this other person worked was inappropriate, that there are different ways that we could be working, and these are what they are, and these are what we need. But social workers don't, because this system is so top-heavy and so governed by a disastrous sense of correctness and disastrous sense of mother blaming and parent blaming and a whole host of other inappropriate behaviours, that at the end of the day, nothing ever gets changed, because they don't want the status quo interrupted. Because a lot of the social workers who work there are fearful that if they're identified as being those social workers who aren't practicing appropriately, that they would in turn lose their jobs. And they should. So what do you think? Is there a chance for change within the Department of Child Protection, or is there not? Now, I'm making a number of these feeds every day, well, one every day, but a number during the week, to have further discussions with you about issues that concern you. We had a feed last night which had some tremendous responses. Even got a message from two people actually overseas who've been watching our live feeds and who want to have further conversations with us about what's happening in their countries. So if you're here in Australia and you've got issues that you'd like to talk to us about, please share those issues with us. If you are overseas and you've got issues that you think we could learn from, or things that you could learn from us, please also make contact, and we'd love to have an interview with you. So we haven't got all that many people online at the moment, but if you're watching this video later on, please share it with other people. And also, if you happen to be watching this as we're posting it to YouTube as well, could you please subscribe and ring the bell when appropriate. Thanks everybody for being with me. If you do notice anything that's happening in your experience where you've noticed social workers being brave, or where they've insisted on changing the system where appropriate, please let me know. Take care, look after yourselves, and more importantly, be safe.